CoffeyTalk.com, which is a source for all kinds of relationship advice, and that is Coffey with an EY at the end. Lissa, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Surveys show that these workplace relationships are up significantly in the past 3 years. Why is that?
Absolutely. Office romances are up 12% in the past 3 years. And that's because we're spending so much more time at the office. You know, this is where we're meeting people. This is where we're forming relationships. It's kind of like offices are the new bar scene, you know? And actually 59% of employees have said that they have dated someone in the office.
Yeah, and about a quarter of the time it ends up in marriage. But what happens when it doesn't, especially when there's a bad split?
Yeah, you know, this is kind of a good news, bad news scenario. The good news is, yeah, 23% of office romances end in marriage. That's terrific, you know? And I'm sure many of them end in friendships and you can just get along fine. Then there's a big portion of them that are really awkward and uncomfortable because you're broken up, but you still have to see this person every single day you go into work. And then worst case scenario is the lawsuits. Over 12,000 sexual harassment lawsuits were filed in 2006 alone.
Which is part of the reason, I guess, why these love contracts came into being. The companies want to protect themselves from, I guess, sexual harassment suits?
Exactly. The love contract is a legal document. It's part of company policy, and it's called the Consensual Relationship Agreement. Basically, it says that both parties have read the sexual harassment policy for the company, that the relationship is consensual, and that it's voluntary, and it releases the company from any liability should the relationship turn out badly.
But a relationship can start well and end up as a harassment situation, can't it?
Yes, it could, and that doesn't mean you can't sue down the road. But typically these policies have an arbitration clause in them so that the company is not going to be in so much trouble. It's not going to be bad PR.
iVillage did a survey of people and asked them, if you were in one of these relationships, workplace relationships, would you want to tell your boss? The majority of people said no. They want to keep their relationships private. So doesn't this make these love contracts sort of moot?
Well, it actually helps people to understand the ramifications of what they're getting into when they get into an office romance, into this serious relationship. It makes them think before they act. And companies really don't want their employees dating. To them, it's just, you know, asking for trouble. It's really a mess. So what's their option? Their option is they can have this zero tolerance policy where they don't allow dating at all. Well, that's not going to happen. People are dating anyway.
Well, what happens if your company does have a love contract? I don't know if NBC does, and you didn't tell them and they find out.
Well, then you're going against policy, so they can ask you to do it. Every company is going to be different. Some companies require that you do this, and so that if you don't do it, then you're facing consequences for not adhering to policy. With some companies, it's optional right now, so it's up to you if you want to say or not. Usually with the gossip mills going on, somebody's going to find out
anyhow, right?
Yes.
So check it out with your human resources.
Yes.
Lissa.